Hi, and thanks for joining me again on my channel. Today I'm going to answer one of two questions that I get asked every single day. The first one I get asked is, how do I do keyword research, or how do I find low competition keywords? And the second one is, which niche should I start, or which niche is the most profitable? Well, today I'm going to try and answer one of them. Which niche is best, or which niche should you go into? Now, this is such a wide open topic that I thought, why don't I break down a niche bit by bit and add it to a playlist within my YouTube channel? That way, if anybody asks me, is this a good niche, I can actually just point them and redirect them over to the video. So I'm going to try and do a series of videos on best niches, or which is a good niche to go into, and I'm going to cover some various different topics. Now, fingers crossed I don't out any of your websites. I am not going to dive into anybody's personal websites, break it down or anything like that, but I'm going to give you a good general overview on whether you should start getting into a particular niche or a particular topic. And in today's video, ghosts and paranormal niche. Now, this is a niche that I've actually thought about getting into myself. It's such a wide niche that it has room for expansion, and it has room to be a very big website, but it can also be niched down as well. So within this niche, you've got things like ghosts, paranormal, ghost stories, witchcraft, the tarot cards. There's absolutely all sorts you could do. So let's deep dive into this niche and see if it's actually a good niche for you to start or get into, and I'll tell you further on in the video why I actually came up with this niche. So before we start, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hit that bell icon to be notified of any videos that I put up. Like I said, I'm going to do a series of these. I'm going to break down a lot of niches, and this is the first one in the video series on niche selection. So let's head over to the computer now and see if this is going to be a good niche for you to get into. Okay, so let's get into this niche of ghosts, paranormal and witchcraft, that kind of thing. Well, let me first of all tell you how the niche came about and why I started researching it and looking into it. Was because in my previous job I came across a book, and I think it was called something like 101 Real Ghost Stories. And I was flicking through it. Obviously, as an affiliate marketer, I'm always looking for new niches. And I came across this and thought to myself, it'd be a really good way of getting some content out there. Now, I don't necessarily mean copying that book, but when I looked at it, I read a bit of the small print that said, these stories are a representation of tales gone by, kind of thing. So it meant that it was somebody else's adaptation of a ghost story. So it may be a story that's been widely publicised, or somebody else has took the credits for, and this book had kind of rewritten it in their own words. And that got me thinking that if you had this as a niche, that's 101 pieces of content right there, because you could do exactly the same. You could take a folklore or a myth or a ghost story and really recreate that in your own words, publish it, and then it would be searched for some relevant keyword terms, and hopefully you'll get some traffic for it. So it got me thinking that there's a huge market for content. And one of the first things I always check when I'm looking at starting a new website is, how easy is it going to be to find content that people are searching for? So one of the ways I always do that, I always start off with Google Trends. So if we jump over here now and just enter the search term ghost stories, and let's see kind of if there's a trending pattern. Let's go to the past 5 years. And if you have a look here, you can see that there is a pretty flat trend on this topic. So what that means is it's searched quite constantly throughout the year. Now, there is some spikes here, and what I think these are is when films are released. So if we take a look further down, you can see here related queries, and ghost story movies, ghost story destiny. There's also kind of all sorts of different ghost stories that are released. There must be 2 or 3 big ghost movies each year, and I think that's where these spikes come from. If we have a look at another search term, let's do the same again. So Google Trends, and let's have a look for paranormal. Let's see if that's a similar trend. So if we go again to the past 5 years, you can see again, it's had one point back in 2015 where it was huge But as you can see again, very, very consistent and very, very level. So it's definitely not a seasonal niche, so that's really good to see. That's always one thing I check straight away. So now we know it's not a seasonal niche, we can actually take a look at some of the traffic and find out how popular or how often this niche is searched. Like I said, it's such a big niche that you could break it down into endless categories and endless subtopics. But if we take a look at some of the big obvious ones, so if we search for ghost stories, let's have a look. So you can see that's searched 246,000 times a month. If we have a look at paranormal, so that word is searched 110,000 times. Let's have a look at witchcraft, 832,000 times a month. And let's have a look at supernatural, and that is searched nearly 2 million times a month. So 4 large sections of your niche are getting around 5-6 million searches a month just on those 4 sections. Also got a ton of other topics: tarot card reading, mythology. There's all sorts you can get into within this niche. So you could start off really narrow and then branch out. So you could focus mainly on ghost stories, and then you could branch out once you've kind of captured that section of the niche. Or you could do a general all-round website where you publish 5 or 6 articles kind of every topic within this supernatural niche or ghost niche, and have a general website launched with covering quite a lot of the topics. So it'd be entirely up to you how you want to start the website off. So how are we going to get traffic for this website? Well, there's a number of options. Obviously, number 1 is going to be organic traffic, which is always should be your first priority, your first focus. But then you've got other social traffic like Pinterest. This could be a really popular niche within Pinterest. You've also then got YouTube. I mean, I can't even start to tell you how popular this niche is over on YouTube. And one of the reasons I know that is because I'm subscribed to a couple of channels. And I'll take you over there in a minute and show you some of the numbers that they get. And again, I've got a really simple tactic of how you could bring in potentially millions of viewers to your YouTube channel and get them coming over to your website. So we'll talk about it in a second. Let's just have a quick look first of all in Google search. If we Google something like the most haunted village and have a look. So this single keyword here, or long tail keyword, is most haunted village, gets 40 searches a month. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's going to pick up other secondary keywords as well. And if we have a look at who's ranking for it, so we've got a site here, London Walking Tours, DA45 with only 9 backlinks, a DA36 here, a DA70, Wikipedia, The Mirror, so we'll ignore those, DA32. So there's a couple of sites here, smallish sites, but none of these are really answering the question of most haunted village. So although some of these websites here seem quite daunting with the DA, they're not actually that relevant to the actual keyword of the most haunted village. So obviously there is a village by the looks of it here in Pluckley, which seems to be in Kent in England, and that seems to be the most haunted village. But obviously you'll be targeting US traffic. I'm using a UK Google server here, so it's pulling out a lot of UK results. But just to give you an idea, that would probably pull up some different results based in the US, especially if you put, let's have a look, most haunted village in the USA. Let's have a look. So yes, the most haunted places in the US, 30 most haunted places in America, 1 most haunted place in the UK. So there's various options there coming up. If we take a look and find some more keywords that you could go after, let's use the Google alphabet search method, which is one of the easiest to use and it's free. So if you start off in Google and type is witchcraft and then just leave it, Google will pull up some suggested searches for you. So these are the searches people have been looking for, and I'm using the Moz Chrome bar extension at the minute, which gives you the keywords and the domain authority rating for some of the websites that's actually ranking for this. But these numbers here are being pulled through from Keywords Everywhere, and this tells you the search volumes for each particular term. So is witchcraft legal in the UK? Is witchcraft legal? So if we just click on that, we can see that that search term alone gets 480 searches a month. And if we have a look, you've then got some other suggestions that Google has now brought up. So what kind of crime is witchcraft? When was witchcraft made illegal? So there's tons of questions you could go after and search there. Keywords everywhere also brings in some other suggested subjects here that you could go after. You know, famous witch hunters. If we click that, then it comes up with some search results for that. So as you can see, I have done a quick bit of research around keywords that are available, how hard they're going to be to rank for them, and to be fair, it's not too bad. There is obviously some ones, if you just type in the word witchcraft, you know, you're not gonna rank for that very easily. But you know, if you type the words, is witchcraft legal under the age of 18? You know, you're making that keyword a long tail keyword, and it'll have much better chance of ranking and getting some traffic for that. But then another form of organic traffic is Pinterest. Now, we're over on Pinterest here now, and as you can see, there's an absolute ton of ghost stories, folk tales, books, which, like I said before, is a great source, a reference source for content. There's so much you can do. You know, 5 spooky ghost stories kids will love. There's an article right there. Let's have a look for some more here. Ghost hunting tips. So you could do 21 ghost hunting tips for beginners. You know, there's another piece of content. Let's keep going. You know, there was another one, Roald Dahl's Book of Ghost Stories. So, you know, children's ghost story books or children-friendly ghost story books. There's another piece of content. There's so much you can do, and this is just around, you know, I'm focusing here on ghosts, but, you know, like I say, you've witchcraft, you've tarot card reading, you've paranormal, you've wizardry. There's all sorts you could go into. This is such a big, broad niche, which can be broken down. But I suggest, you know, looking at this, I would think I would go with a general paranormal website and then start getting a bit of content for each topic and see which one really takes off, or see which one starts ranking better than the other one, and then really focus in on that sector. Now, another form of traffic would be YouTube. So not only is this going to be able to get traffic over to your website, but this is also going to be a way of monetizing your website as well. And one of my favorites, I'm subscribed to it, Slapped Ham. Yeah, I know, pretty weird name, I get that. But it's got just short of 2 million subscribers, and it has a ton of views. I mean, if we look at the views, it's got 419 million views. So it's a huge channel, but it's very simple to do. And this is one of the things that really excited me about this niche, having a YouTube channel connected to the website. So you could quite simply just stand in front of a camera, a bit of a spooky background or a black wall, and just tell of some of the stories that you found in books or that are well-known stories, and just tell them in your own voice, in your own manner, and edit them together, bit of spooky, eerie background music, and you've got a video. I mean, get as many of those on YouTube as you can, link them in the description over to your website, and you've another form of traffic and an income source. Okay, so while we're talking about monetary sources and where your income is going to come from this, let's dive into that. So first of all, you're going to have ads on your website, display ads. You've all seen them, the little ads that pop up within the content. And this side of the monetization could be huge, because the amount of traffic you could get from some of these articles, as we saw, just one topic gets searched 2 million times a month. So if you can have a very small piece of that pie, you're going to get a lot of traffic over to your website. So ads going to play a really big part in this. Second form of monetization you can do with this, as we just saw, is a YouTube channel. It's something, like I say, I've considered this niche and I planned it out in my head, and it would just simply be me stood in front of a camera, eerie music, black background, and just talk about ghost stories from a book. Buy the 101 ghost story books that I mentioned earlier, and just read in your own words or reword it slightly and tell of some ghost stories and folk tales and paranormal events, and get them onto your YouTube channel. get monetized on YouTube, and that's a second form of income. The next form of income is going to be affiliate commissions. So Amazon, as you know, is one of the biggest markets for affiliate products, and there's a massive supply of ghost, witchcraft, paranormal. There's a ton of products on there. Now, granted, this is not a huge ticket item kind of website, so you're not going to be selling £700-800 electrical equipment, but there is a lot of options you can link to. Books, so if I just have a look here, so you've got paranormal books, witchcraft books. There's a ton of books you could do. Let's have a look at ghost hunting equipment. Let's have a look at that. We have a look at ghost hunting equipment. You know, you got paranormal ghost hunting tool, $189. Orbital Bluetooth speaker kit, spiritual speaker kit, $89. Ghost scanner, $90. So there is a few products, you know. Ghost hunting kit there, $165. So there is some products on there, and obviously you could link out to the best video cameras, the best audio equipment for recording ghosts, sensor cameras. There's kind of all sorts of equipment that goes with ghost hunting. So you could also get into the antique side of it, so antique Ouija boards, antique witchcraft kind of equipment and tools and whatever they use, I don't know. But you know, there is a ton of products on there. So one downside to the affiliate side on this, for products, they're not huge price points. You're going to have to sell a lot of them to make a decent income. But if you can get a couple of 100,000 people over to your website a month, which is definitely possible with this kind of niche, then you're going to sell a few products, and you'll also pick up some random products as well that people buy. You know, that's certainly another form of monetization. But the last and the most exciting way of monetizing this website is through a product, an online product. So it's something that I've wanted to try and get into and never really had a niche that hit the nail on the head, and this is definitely it. So anybody that's got an interest in paranormal or ghost hunting is certainly going to have an interest in things like tarot card reading and fortune telling and things like that. You know, maybe they want to get into ghost hunting, and you could produce an online course for, you know, how to become a ghost hunter. So, you know, you could do a course, but I think something like, you know, tarot card reading or a paranormal evaluation or something like that would be brilliant. And there's a lot of affiliate products out there. So, you know, things like this one where it's tarot card reading, where, you know, you could easily get a developer to do you something like this, where, you know, it's very easy to create something that they can just pick their tarot cards or read their fortune, and you could do either a free app or something like that, where you could then get monetization through ads on it, or you could just sell them, like, you know, $4.99 will sell you a tarot card reading. I'm not going to continue this because I'm not sure what it's going to say. I don't really want to know what my future holds, if I'm honest. I'll leave it there, but you get the idea. And there's some big share sale and places like that. There is some courses on there. There is some apps that you could simply just put a little link in your website, you know, tarot card reading, $5. And you're going to make, with some of these commissions, it's like 70-80% commission because it's a digital product. There's such a high profit margin in it. So, you know, you might sell a $9.99 tarot card reading and you get $8 commission for it. Now, if you've got 200,000 people coming over to your website, you only need 20 or 30 of them a day to be clicking that, you know, and it's a substantial amount of money. Add this onto your ad revenue, your YouTube channel, your affiliate products. Add that all together and you've got a very profitable website. So there you go. That's the ghost and paranormal niche broken down piece by piece. Whether it's a good niche would be for you to decide. Everybody goes into different niches for different reasons. I'm personally heavily involved in the pet niche because it's what I did kind of as a career a long time ago now, but it's something that I had an interest in and a little bit of knowledge about. It always helps to have a bit of an interest in your niche, but that's not entirely 100% essential. I'm in a couple of niches at the minute which are doing really well, which I know nothing about, but it just means I have to do a lot more research, and if I outsource any content, it's very difficult for me to see how good a job the writer's done without actually researching that article all over again. So you're kind of doing the work twice, if you know what I mean. So sometimes it is worth having a bit of an interest and a little bit of knowledge about the niche you're going into. Then when that content comes back in, or if you're thinking of new content ideas, it's much easier to check and cross-reference, and you know if your writers are doing a good job. So this pretty good niche to get into, certainly when I considered getting into. I think it's got a huge potential both for traffic and for monetization. I think there's some cool monetization methods you could go into this niche, and yeah, have a look, see what you think, see if this niche is for you. Stay with me, stay tuned for the next one. I think the next one we're going to do is the pet niche. I'm going to have a look, since this is my speciality niche, I'm going to have a look and take a wider look at the pet niche. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next video.